All right, good people of crypto YouTube, what's going on? Crazy Monkey Crypto here. Today, guys, we have our very first CPU mining rig build. Now, I kind of got some of the parts pulled out, but we will go through what I all got here. This is my very first CPU mining rig build. I've just watched a couple videos, so have a little bit of patience with me if I'm not doing, it takes me a little bit to get everything figured out. I don't tell anybody, but I didn't actually build my first computer. It was a pre-built, so I know. Probably get a lot of hate for that. So, okay, this motherboard, let me find it. Yeah, it's the Pro B650P Wi-Fi motherboard, and this is an AM5 chassis. So we will grab, let's see, got the CPU here. It's gonna be very hard to see with the light right above, but I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a Ryzen 7 7700X. And then our cooler, we have this Thermalright Assassin King 120 SE. I saw this was recommended in Rapid Mining's Discord, and so we're gonna give it a shot. Never know. Then I have a 750 watt MSI modular power supply that I just had laying around. And then this is a 3D printed kind of bracket stand. And then this one will be like on the other side for obviously the other side of the board. We'll have to see if I have to tap any holes here. Probably will. But I already have the, too many wires. So we have the 24 pin for the motherboard. These are both going to be CPU pins, and then I'll have to grab a PCIe so that I can shoot some graphics out. And then finally, we have 2 sticks of the Flare X5 6,000 megahertz, and they're 16 gigabytes each, DDR5 CL32. So where I got this, guys, so the RAM, the CPU, and the motherboard all came from Micro Center. They apparently have been having this deal go for like the last year, where I think in total for the motherboard, the CPU, and the RAM with no warranty, it was $405. And I'm checking right now, the 7700X is making about $1.75. It is February 19th when I'm starting this video, so not bad, guys. You pay $400 some and it's making $1.80 almost. I have free power, and this has very low power draw, about 105 watts I think just for the CPU, and then throw maybe another 25 on for the motherboard and the RAM. So alright, guys, let's just get things organized and then we will start our build. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll do the CPU first. I already took this off because I didn't want to have shaky hands on camera, because I've heard horror stories about bent pins. So we'll grab our CPU here. Surprisingly heavier than I would have anticipated, and so it's a little bit blurry, but you guys can see there's kind of this marking here. We can try to get it in focus, whatever. But there's an arrow here, and then there's also, it's kind of hard to see, but there's an arrow down here on the motherboard. Okay, just make sure that it's positioned. Okay. Hard part's done, hopefully. Alright, so it's been a couple days since we filmed. What'll be about a couple seconds ago for you guys. I did purchase a couple extra things. So this is a power switch. So we're actually able to engage and actually like equivalent of turning your PC on with a power button. And then I also purchased a Raspberry Pi tablet that just powers up via USB, and then it has an HDMI output that I will plug into my GPU that we'll put here in slot 1 when we are ready for that. Okay, so I think at this point we are going to take off these plastic brackets here, and then we will get the thermal paste on, and then we have this little spreader. So I have the MX4 thermal compound Arctic, and then it also comes with this little spreader. So I don't know, we'll see. Maybe just get it all, spread even out or as good as we can. And if you guys are looking for any of this stuff, check the link in the description. I'll have Amazon links to all this stuff. I got everything except for the CPU, the motherboard, and the RAM I've gotten on Amazon. So, all right, we will be right back. All right, so a couple quick things. So we took off these plastic brackets, and we went ahead and took the 2 mounting plates on the side, and then we took the AM4, AM5, like these mounting buffers, I guess, and then the screws, and then we went ahead and screwed those into the back plate that's on the back side of the motherboard. Maybe show here. So we left that back plate on right there. And we will go ahead and throw some thermal paste on. Alright, I've never actually done this, so I've heard about a pea-sized dot. Wipe off the end here. Extra stuff on the napkin we'll be throwing away, and we'll release you guys. As you guys see, that's about as much as I'm going to put on. We'll go ahead and put the cooler head on, and then we'll just install the fans, and then our CPU and cooler will be completed. If you get, this CPU cooler or whatever CPU cooler you get, make sure to remove the plastic that comes on the bottom. Otherwise, you will not get very good cooling. Alright, so we got that positioned. We'll just go ahead and rotate the screws, tighten it down. Want it to be nice and tight in order to disperse that heat. And it'll just come down. You can see it looks like it's sitting right on the top of the CPU. It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like it's at a good height. We'll give the screws another 1 or 2 turns, and then we should be good to go. And then the last part is just going to be installing these mounts for the fan, and I need to follow the instructions on how to do that because I don't really know. So I will be right back. Alright, so it's actually super simple. So these fan clips, what you think? You get all this expensive equipment and then just like little pieces of metal here. But so the fan clips, you take the ends so that these clip in here, and that way you have this, and then you can throw it on here. And then you get it so that, so that this clips right in here on this edge, and this clips in here on this edge. And I checked the diagram to make sure the fan is going the correct way, and it is, which is fantastic. Now on to something much easier in the RAM sticks. So on this particular motherboard, yeah, so for the RAM, you can see right here, it has the DIMM A1, DIMM A2, DIMM B1, DIMM B2, and so you're gonna want to do this like second slot away from the CPU cooler and the fourth slot away from the CPU cooler, and that is because it's running the dual channel. So we'll go ahead and snap in our RAM. Just make sure that we got the right spacing. We'll do. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but you should hear kind of 2 clicks, one for each side, which just lets you know that you have everything installed correctly. Go ahead and stick in our second stick. So that is going to be 32 gigabytes of RAM. We have our CPU cooler. We're getting down to the end here. So we'll plug in this CPU fan header into the CPU fan plug. I'm not sure if you guys, how well you guys can see that, but that's a CPU fan right there. Go ahead and plug that in. Make sure it's nice and snug, so that way it actually, you know, turns on when we power this thing up. Alright guys, so like I said, we have the CPU cooler and everything all attached. We got it hooked up. We have the RAM in here, a little hard to see, and the CPU is installed. We have our power switch on here, so it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a diagram here for what this motherboard calls JFP1, and so we'll just attach the positive or the red wire to the power plus and the black to the power minus, and that should allow us to just click the button to get it turned on. So let's do a quick time lapse of me attaching the cords. Alright guys, here is the moment of truth. So we'll turn on our power supply, and then we will hit our power button. Okay. Hey, look at that. I didn't break it. Sweet. So we got some indication LEDs, but the easiest way to tell is we got that fan spinning, so we know that we are getting power. That is awesome. Not gonna lie, I was really nervous that I would mess something up, and you can see now we got it's a nice bright white light. So okay, we're gonna go get the SSD configured in Hive, and then I gotta pull out my 3060 from my desktop rig, and then we will work on getting this thing figured out in the BIOS. Alright, so we're here with the whole setup here. We got our keyboard, we got our 3060 GPU, we got just our Wi-Fi antennas for right now. We have our CPU cooler like we showed, our Ryzen 7 7700X. We got our power cables for our CPU, got our fan header, CPU cooler, 24 pin into our motherboard. We got our switch, we got our SSD, and then we have our little display here, which is plugged in just through the motherboard. Okay, let's fire it up. Okay, that's good. We're seeing no signal. Oh, alrighty. We are in the BIOS. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and edit this up because I don't know the undervolts or overclocks very well. If you want to check some out, I know Rabbit Mining has a bunch of videos on how to set up. And for overclocking or undervolting your CPU, you have to do it in the BIOS. You can't do it in HiveOS, so that's why you kind of have to do it right here. But I'm going to go ahead and adjust those settings and be right back. Alright, if you're seeing this, that means the first time did not go as planned. Okay, so the problem is that little screen did not, it doesn't format in the BIOS correctly, so you weren't able to see all this same stuff that you're able to see now, and now I am. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. You can go ahead and see we have our Wi-Fi motherboard. You can see we have our 8-core Ryzen 7 7700X, and we're going to go ahead and tweak those settings. Alright guys, everything is configured. We are all hooked up into the power. We got our Ethernet cable here. We got our SSD. So we'll go ahead. I unplugged the GPU. We obviously won't be needing that. We can control everything from Hive. So let's go ahead and turn on the power. Okay. Took a second. But we got fan spinning. We got LED lights. And it looks like we are doing good. So we will give it a little bit to boot up, and then we will check it in Hive. Alright guys, after some troubleshooting, you can see we are able to finally see our rig here. It took a while, but you can see we have our Ryzen 7 7700X 8-core 16-thread CPU. Whew. So I did have to disable the secure boot that I didn't know was a setting that you had to change. So I had to throw my GPU back in, reconnect my monitor, and then I was having trouble with the Ethernet because I was messing with stuff, but we're up. Zephyr, for some reason, their web wallet is not working right now, so we'll set up the flight sheet at a later date, but we're up. You know, I'll do a review video probably in about a week or two just to see how we're doing. So if you guys stuck around this entire time, please consider hitting that subscribe, like, comment button. Leave anything you want. If you liked it, didn't like it, what you want me to see do next. We're super close to 100 subscribers if we're not already there by that point, so it'd be really cool. You know, if I could hit that goal. We're obviously we're striving to build up as much as we can, you know, during this still like crypto spring, I guess. So all right, peace out guys.